Everyone, Shelly Panzarella, and this is another episode of Smash Talks. So, I know, best, realtor, also best friend, lover to death, Miss Tamra Coulter, who's signature real estate group. We've been working together for a few years now.
Yeah, I want to say at least 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Stories for our clients.
Yes.
And this is all about revenue.
Oh,
Friends also, and as well as my team. And so I wanted to chat a little bit about what you're up to. We'll talk a little bit about some of the great things that you do. But let's just start off with kind of doing a quick intro on who you are.
awesome. Well, as Shelly said, I'm Tamra Coulter with Signature Real Estate Group. I've been a licensed agent. I first got licensed in 2005, something like that, 2005, 2006. I did. See, something you didn't know, huh? Yeah, and it was during like the condo conversion times and things like that. And oh gosh, it may have even been sooner than that. It was a while ago. But it was after 9/11, so fingerprinting took forever to come in. So I was working on the condo conversions. I couldn't do real estate, so they hired me as a hostess where I made like $30 an hour or something like that to show homes because I wasn't getting commissions. I was acting more as a showing person, just opening a door and shutting the door or whatever. So by the time my license came in, which was like 6 months or something, like 5-6 months, the project was done. Well, there was like a thing that happened, so we were leaving the project. So I'm like, well, now what am I going to do with my real estate license? Because I wasn't doing that full time. I had my career at the bank. So I iced it, put it on hold, and then let it go. And then in 2014 is when I got relicensed, left the bank. My banking career, I was in that for like almost 16 years, and came into real estate full time.
And so I know you had a little bit of history in '05, but what really brought you into it full time and going strong as you are today?
So it's funny with my husband, Mike. He's uber supportive in everything I do. I think he's like my biggest fan, for sure. And things were changing in the banking world, and I wasn't as happy, I would say. And he's like, "Babe, you've always talked about real estate, like how much fun that was for that short period of time you were doing it. Why aren't you doing this?" And he knows, like, we bought a few properties together, and it wasn't a good process. We didn't have the greatest help on our side. We didn't have an advocate on our side. And he's like, you could be what was lacking, And so finally one day I just decided, you know what, I'm doing it. And I gave my notice and took my test, passed it. And I was like, well, it must be meant to be because, I just went and had to retake everything. So I just missed it by like a year to have my old license reactivated. Yeah, so I had to retest and everything, and haven't looked back since. So.
Have you been with Signature since you got licensed?
No, I started with another company. I don't know if I should say or not, but yeah. So I started with another company, and then that one did not work out because, oh my God, it cost me a fortune to be there. And then I went to my friend who I was originally licensed with, who was the broker for the condo conversion project. I'm like, how about I come work for you? The problem there was he's an amazing person. He's super intelligent, but his business model was different, right? It was very, very small, very intimate. Because he was a new homes specialist, like he knew numbers and things like that. He was like an educator almost. So when it came to real life real estate issues, and let me tell you, my first year in real estate, I had every kind of issue. I was selling manufactured homes. I had earnest money deposit disputes. I'm like, yeah, if there was something to go wrong that first year, I caught it. Like literally, my catcher's mitt was up and catching everything that could cause some kind of curveball. And unfortunately, he had been in business 30 years. He never dealt with any of this kind of stuff. So it was like, okay, this isn't working then. I need to find some. Yeah, not from that standpoint. In a different standpoint, he's an amazing mentor, but from real life, everyday practical real estate issues, not, So I was like, okay, I gotta be smart about this. Like, I didn't know you could change real estate agent companies so much. So then I started interviewing, and somebody recommended me to come meet Brandon Roberts over at Signature. And I met Janet. I fell in love with Janet because, like, no offense, she reminds me so much of my mom. I was just like, you are so my mom. Like, this is, yeah, just kind of real, says it how it is. And that, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And then Brandon was one of few words, but what he said, like, what he did say, it resonated well. And there's something, and that I really want to share about Brandon, which I thought was amazing, was I had spoke with all kinds of other brokers, blah, 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 blah. Some of these other brokers had not nice things to say when they found out, like, oh, I'm interviewing with this person, or I'm interviewing with this person. Instead of leveling up and being, oh, that's great, this and that, they would say something kind of derogatory towards that broker or towards that person, right? Brandon never did. You know, he just was like, yeah, that would be a good choice if that's what you thought, you know, you needed, blah, blah, blah. This is what we can offer. And I don't know, I just really respected that, you know. So, and here I've been. Here I am.
For those of you who don't know Brandon Roberts, he was actually my first guest. So he had just come in as the LVR president.
Yes.
For his installation. So I was like, hey, what a cool way. Maybe I could up my ranking or whatever, my subscriptions. But you can check out episode 1 of this show so you can get to know Brandon a little bit.
Nice, yeah.
He's got a great part in my, you know, I consider him a mentor.
Yes, absolutely.
So he has a great vision, but he's also very fair.
Absolutely.
And very honest. And that's, I mean, obviously with a company, but also with somebody who you want to associate yourself with. Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah.
So I would say, you know, in working with you, 2 things always stand out for me. Like, you always have this, like, huge energy, and I'm pretty energetic. Like, you know, everybody comes in this thing and like, Shelly had way too much coffee.
Yeah.
Tamra comes in like, these 2 must have been on the same coffee.
Right?
She knows double and Shelly.
Yeah.
But you always just come in with so much enthusiasm, and you actually approach everything that we do together and everything that I always see you doing with so much passion and enthusiasm. And I know that carries through in all aspects of your life. And I know even with our clients, that's the one thing you like, fight tooth and nail to get deals done for your clients.
Yes.
You know, but you're also very passionate about the things that they want. And, you know, that's one thing as we've talked, and I've watched you just, you know, go through buyer consults and even in hearing how the client's interactions are with you, that you always put them first. Like, and everybody, you know, every realtor says that, but you definitely take a different approach in doing that, you know. And I don't know if that's in just who you are because you're such a family person, or it's just your nature just to always, you know, do that for your clients. But that seems to be a process for you, right? I know you walk them through homes and you're like very open.
Yeah. Probably too open sometimes.
But you do share, right? But you also respect what they want.
Yes, absolutely. I walk them through and I think, you know, a lot of it is, it's just me. I'm a nurturer, right? Like, I'm just a caretaker by trait, by who I am, by DNA, right? Yeah. And so sometimes it's probably like I could tone it down because I don't think every client wants that, you know. But if you're going to ask me my opinion or my, you know, what I think, I'm going to tell you, you know. So but I'm going to do it in a loving way. My main goal is to make sure that they are happy and they are getting what they want. Because like I said, you know, I know even when I bought my very first home, when I sold my very first home, even when Mike and I were buying homes, like, we didn't have a good support and we didn't have anybody there who cared. Like, we had an agent, don't get me wrong, but we didn't have somebody who cared. And so we made so many mistakes along the way, and I just never want that to happen. So yeah, sometimes I take everything too much to heart. You know, Mike will even tell, like, hun, don't take it so personal. It's like, this is personal. This is somebody's home. But I treat everybody as if they were a personal family or, you know, part of my family or part of my friends. And that's how it works for me. So
I think that's definitely what you see, because a lot of your clients, I mean, you get a lot of repeat clients now.
Absolutely.
You've been in business since, 14? 15,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
And they come back for more Tamra.
Oh, yeah.
But you made that experience so special for them if they want to, and their friends and family.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have one. So we have her house listed right now, and her parents came out. This is our third transaction together, and her parents have come out every time she's moved and this and that. And they're like, well, you're losing one of your biggest clients because she's moving actually across the country this time. And I'm like, darn it, but it's true. That happens a lot. Like it's definitely where I've helped them 2, 3, sometimes 4 times, and I love that, though. I love that I'm the person that they do trust and call back. So
absolutely. I think some of that from the real estate aspect of it is also important, and it's kind of taking you into the other roles that you or areas of your. I don't even know if you would call it specifically real estate, but you're big in VA, and it's supposed to be veteran. It's VA real estate professionals, right? VA
yeah, so VA rep, and it's a Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals.
Right.
And yeah, I started off, in fact, Janet, it was here at Signature. Another agent had come in who was the president of VA Rep at that time, Billy Alt. And I started volunteering with them. And then I got asked to apply to be on the board. Then I was on the board for 4 years locally here. And it was amazing. Because I think it's actually just about giving back and serving others. Like, it's not about, what we can get, what we're going to get out of it, anything like that, except a fulfilled heart. Like, seriously, that's all you're going to get out of it, which is amazing to me. And I got to tell you, that's one thing I love about real estate, that like so many people look at real estate or realtors like, oh, they're this or, oh, they're this. It's like, being in real estate is so much more than just selling houses. It's about homeownership rights. It's about community rights. It's about having the time and the resources to do more. And that being in real estate, so it's allowed me that time to get so involved in the Association for Veterans. And now I've grown that into a national position where I head up the philanthropic arm to VA Rep nationwide. Yeah. So and without being in real estate, I couldn't do those things. That's all made up of the real estate industry. That's realtors, lenders, title reps, home inspectors. It's people who care about the community. So that's why when I see people trying to go against realtors or going against, it's like you're really fighting against your home ownership rights, because you don't realize what we do so much in the back end to help preserve all of those rights, tenant rights, landlord rights, everything, so it is bipartisan. There's no political agenda except to help the homeowners,
And I think it's because you're an exception to the case, right? There are hundreds of thousands of realtors, and there's a very small percentage of realtors that take part in like this,
right?
And I know there's a ton of professional realtors, and I'm not saying that that's not the case if you're just a general realtor, but there's definitely a passion purpose behind. There's certain realtors who take it really
absolutely, right? Yeah. And I think we're lucky in this community. We do have quite a few that are, that care about the community, and we fight for it all. So.
Excuse me. So what made you choose VA? Was there something?
So my growing up, we moved a lot. My mom was kind of like a gypsy, but like my dad, he was in the Army. I had uncles that were a Marine. I had 2 Navy uncles. My grandfather was Navy. My other grandfather was Army. So I wanted to join the Air Force, but I did. Yeah, I know, right? See, I'm an open book on some things. Some things I'm like an onion. You got to peel back the layers. But yeah, I wanted to fly the jets. Like that's what I remember being a kid and in California and seeing the Thunderbirds and stuff, and the Blue Jays. Back in California, it was the Blue Jays that came around a lot, and every now and then we would get a special show from the Thunderbirds as well. And so I was like, I want to drive one of those. I want to fly a jet, and but then I broke my back as right out of high school and whatnot. And so it kind of stymied a lot of my goals there. And I even tried to lie on my application, say I was 100% fine, but they don't like that so much. Don't judge me, okay? I was determined. Cut that part out. So yeah, I didn't get in, obviously. So this is my way of serving. Is not all of us serve in the military. Some of us serve those that serve, and that this is a way of honoring my my grandparents, my uncles, my father. And I love helping them. So.
Yeah, and I mean that obviously resonates with your buyers, but as well in this organization. I think that's also something to consider too. Is that you are invested in. You're not getting paid for that, right?
No.
That was a non-for-profit. That's a non-profit organization.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
it's really all of your time.
Yeah.
And commitment, and some of that, in some cases, because I remember, you're like, I have like all these things I have to do with VA rep, and that that was actually more than even your real estate stuff.
Yes.
At some point.
Yeah, it was.
But there's been a lot of great things that have come from that.
Absolutely.
I love the story even of do they still do the homes, or they give it back?
Yep. Oh yeah, the home donation. Yeah. So part of the program is we do House a Vet, and that is where we get homes from different bank partners. So Bank of America, let's say, has a home that they're going to donate to us. Then we raise money to do a remodel on it, and then we do an application process, and we look for a veteran in that town, because it's not like you can say, oh, give us one in Las Vegas. Yeah. We've been lucky. We have had 4 homes here in Las Vegas that we were able to donate. Yeah, so that was pretty awesome to, so even when I was volunteering on the chapter level, before I was working with House a Vet, I got to help be a part of those home donations. And then we, so whenever we get a house, let's say it's in New York, we start sending out flyers, touching base with those people, veteran organizations, realtor organizations, things like that. Hey, who do you know that would be able to apply for this? So, and what's the beauty about it is it's not like, hey, here's a free home. It's, hey, you need a hand up. So we're going to help teach you about financial literacy. We're going to teach you how to save money, because a lot of times folks go into the military so young, they're not taught all of that stuff when you get out, right? Like balancing checkbooks and all of that good stuff. So we teach them all of that. And then at the end of 3 years, the cloud on the deed is then lifted, and the home is theirs mortgage free to sell, to do whatever with. And one of the things I love most about that is there's one lady, she was given the house, about 4 years ago. And so after her program ended, she sold her house, bought a duplex where she lives on the top. She runs a business out of the bottom, and is completely successful now. And that was all by taking a chance and us helping her. And that's what I mean by we give a hand up. It's not a hand out. We're helping lift you to be everything that you're meant to be, So it's an amazing program. So I encourage anybody who's a veteran or who has a veteran out there that, if you don't own a home, go to houseavet.net and check it out, because it's awesome.
Houseavet.net.
Yeah.
And so that there's like a formal announcement that this is going to be happening. Then there's also the application process.
Correct.
And then there's a formal process in selecting the actual candidate to do that for.
Right. Absolutely.
What
Yeah.
timeline do you do it every year? Is it like?
So we have several. So usually pre-COVID, I would say there was probably about 10 to 12 donations a year, home donations a year. So that was pretty awesome. Wow. Last year we did, I believe, 7.
Really?
Yeah. So this year we've given 6 homes, and we had a 7th on the books. It's getting postponed because of, with COVID, it's hard to find contractors, supplies, labor, etc. So like I said, when we get those homes, we completely rehab them. So it takes a minute, right? So unfortunately, that house had to get postponed a little bit. But so we've got one coming up in Connecticut. So if anybody's out there in the Connecticut area watching this.
So you don't need to plan it today for that home.
No.
The application is open.
Application's open.
Okay.
Yep,
Awesome.
absolutely.
That's actually really exciting. I didn't know, because I know when VA Rep first started, which was maybe 12 here in the Las Vegas chapter.
Correct. Yeah. 12, 13 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had done one here in Las Vegas, but I didn't realize that I thought it was just, they get a home and that was kind of it.
Yeah, no, it's a nationwide program. It's actually under its own entity. It's called the House a Vet, which is again under VA Rep, but it's its own kind of leg of VA Rep.
That's awesome. So if I were a realtor today, because you've talked a little bit about 2 different things. One, your struggles as your first year being a realtor, but also that you joined this organization. Would you say those would be, would you say jumping into an organization, whether it's VA rep, there's several here in the Valley. Right?
Yeah. And I've been a part of a lot of them. Like I'm still part of the Women's Chamber of Commerce. I do a lot for the Women's Chamber, the Metro Chamber. I'm still heavily involved in there as well. But I would say definitely there's NARAB, WCR. I would say to anybody who's looking to who's just starting out in real estate, or even if you've been seasoned and you haven't joined, it has done so much for me, maybe not just for my business, but for me as a professional. I've met amazing people who have helped me grow. It's taught me different parts of my business that I wouldn't have known. It's helped me personally as well. Then you also get to meet those other professionals that are in the community that care. So guess what? When I'm representing Shelly Panzarella to buy that new home, and I see now this other co-partner out there, and we already have that rapport, and we know we're both professionals. We're in it to make sure everybody's happy, and it's not just a one-sided transaction. That changes the whole dynamics of working together and making sure all parties come together for a successful close.
Yeah, and I agree. I think a lot of people miss that aspect of it. Everybody thinks it's what's in it for me.
Yeah.
And really that's the relationship building aspect.
Absolutely.
And if you're passionate about whatever, because, VA rep is not, it's specific for veterans, right?
Right.
And then you've got NAREB, National Hispanic.
Yes.
NAREB.
Yep.
What is that?
That's the National Association of Brokers, real estate brokers.
Yeah, Women's Council of Realtors.
Mm-hmm.
So all of them, they're all different with their mission.
Correct.
Right? And so if you're aligned with their mission, it's a great opportunity. Oh, Asian Real Estate Association. Hello.
I was going to say, aren't you part of ARIA?
Our chapter president as well.
Yeah.
But I think really, it was, when you go through it, I mean, I joke around about this, but I was the banner girl, like banner stand. I would be the one that would go in and put up the banners at all of the different events. That was like my job description.
Right.
My role. And it was something that I took away. I mean, I have all these connections today. Brandon Roberts, Lana Naval, all of those are connections I got
from there.
That
yeah.
Organization. When you talk even just the local side is amazing. You are also involved nationally.
Correct.
Do you see a lot of opportunity for referrals because of that also? Or?
Yeah, I guess you can, because you are meeting other realtors and things like that. So, I have actually with a client I had who was going to be relocating to Georgia, we did a house out there. So it was like, oh, who was that lady I met? And it was like, okay, cool. So there's absolutely a chance for that as well, So, and that's just something that comes naturally when you're networking and meeting people, right? So, and you stay in contact and whatnot. So
yeah, and you're working with like-minded and on the same mission. With
absolutely, and I mean, it just makes it like you're not even working now, right? Yeah, it's just
like your work to be that we call work, right? We're in to help our clients and things like that.
Absolutely.
So is the stop, drop, and push, is that part of VA?
It is. So what stop, drop, push is, it's to end the 22 a day. So our mission there, as a lot of people know, there's 22 veteran lives lost to suicide every day.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So the statistic kind of comes up and down a little bit. And so my grandfather, the one who was in the Navy, he's one of those fallen. So that's why I think I have such a passion for that. Yeah. And so what we do with that one is we help unite veterans that are struggling and put them with some alternative therapy options. So studies have showed that in addition to the traditional therapies and medications, having an alternative therapy added to their overall treatment plan, it adds so much value to that veteran's life and helps them in transitioning, helps them in rediscovering their purpose, helps them in so many ways. And everybody's like, well, what's alternative therapy? It could be anything. It could be acupuncture. It could be receiving a service animal. I'm working with a veteran right now who she's been awarded a service animal from somebody, but she can't afford to get there she has to go to Florida, stay for 2 weeks to train. So you don't just get a dog, right? They have to train you on how to cue the dog, how the dog is supposed to pick up on your body language and things like that, because that's how a true service animal works, right? They have to read their owner's body language and act a certain way and things like that.
So the owner goes through training as well as
Absolutely. 100%. Right. And that's a true service animal. Right. So she applied for the grant because, she lives check to check. And so she got the dog from that organization, but she needs that gap funding. Right. So she needs that help in getting to Florida, have a room paid for 2 weeks, have food and lodging. And then that's where we can come in and help with those kind of things. So I just absolutely love that program. I don't think enough people know about it yet. We just got it. And then we're always looking for more alternative therapy options, providers, right? So we just got one in Arizona. Like, this is amazing that they offer floating tanks. So they fill it up with like salt. Like, I didn't even know this was a thing, right? But they put like this water in, and they put a special kind of salt in there, and then you go in there, and then you're floating in this, and you're sealed, right? So you go in like this capsule kind of a thing. But like I said, I was in a horrible car accident, right? So I have broken bones all over the place. I've fallen off my horse, fallen off mountain bikes. I mean, I don't even know why I leave the house. Yeah. So I'm like, but these flotation devices, they like, you just lay there for like a half hour to an hour to relax, and it does like things spiritually to you. It does things holistically and physically just by floating there. So imagine if you're a veteran who has gone through the thick of it, and now you're going to your therapy and doing the other things, but now you have this extra little piece that just gives you a moment to breathe, and feel good and float. And let's say, you don't have use of your right arm or your left leg. Well, guess what? This is something you can still do. Like, you can just float and heal and feel at peace for a moment, So we're also always looking for more alternative therapy providers, and it doesn't have to be just here in Las Vegas. So it's like, again, if anybody knows anybody who could add that value or add that piece to offer to the veterans and military, because sometimes active military need the services too. So it is for veterans and active duty, depending on the program. But we're always looking for providers as well.
So is that something they come to your website?
Yeah.
Drop and push?
Yep.
Both sides of it.
Absolutely. Stopdroppush.org. And if you're a veteran, you would go to the veteran portion. It says apply for an alternative therapy service, or it says alternative therapy provider, to apply to be a nationwide provider for us. So,
And you're always in search for both, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I know because I know that you work with a lot of veterans as well, obviously with your passion for them, but you don't just work with veterans.
No. Yeah.
I feel like is one of I always say I have a really cool superstar client, and that's our NHL referee. I know you.
Yes.
We have several.
Yes.
But he's the one just because he came in when BGK was kind of coming out.
Yeah.
A cool experience. So not only does she work with veterans and active military, you're very great in that arena with those flyer profiles.
Right.
You also do every aspect.
Luxury. Yeah, we love our referees and his amazing family. But yeah, so I mean, everything from luxury to the first-time home buyers. I mean, we've done how many first-time home buyers together, and how fun is that, right? I mean, and I think that's one of the best things I love about real estate too, is educating people, right? So and I think that makes a difference on the type of agent you work with. There's agents that are like, oh, I'm just going to handle everything. And that's fine if that's their business model. Mine is, I know I'm a nosy Parker. So I always wanted to know everything going on a nosy Parker. And so you never heard nosy Parker? Oh my goodness. It means that you're just nosy. You got your nose into everything. Yeah, no, maybe it's a Southern thing. I don't know. But yeah, it's a little, my mom would always say, quit being such a nosy Parker, Tamerlyn, so yeah, but I love that part because you get to educate them and show them the process, and they love that. And again, though, they will come back 10 more times because you took the time to actually show them how things are and educate them, and they want to come back to you, so because then there's always something new they can learn. Yeah. Well,
so to switch gears, because we talked a lot about your work aspect of it, I know one of your passions is your horses. Horses plural now. Right?
Well, my one I had is back with her original mommy, but we're still keeping our horses together. So and Mike rides her. So Mike rides Miss Rain, the draft Clydesdale. And then I got my beautiful little Andalusian that I just heart so much.
Yeah, you need a big energy.
Yes, her name's Miss Freya. So Jordan named her after a goddess that I think he fell in love with, a Greek god or something, goddess. So her name is Miss Freya.
That's awesome. And so how do you, like, is that really, are you just doing that to ride? Or are you like?
Oh gosh, no. Yeah, no, it's, there's some days I don't ride. I just go out there and groom her and we walk, and we are joined up. So what that means is when the horse looks at you as the leader, as the alpha, they will join up with you and just kind of follow you, and they might take off for a second, but then they got to come right back to you, And so we have built such a bond. I've had her since the end of February that now she joins up to me. In fact, it's funny. This morning I had to go take her blanket off, and where she's at, they get turned out in like a small group. And so the guy's like, Freya's acting like a rebel today. She wouldn't go back in her stall, So I'm like, okay, let me see what we can do. So I come over there. I'm like, Miss Freya. I said, come. And I cued her. So when I put my hand flat, I'm like, come. She literally comes over, puts her head down, and is like, no, not all the time she does it, like on point, but yeah, on point right now, all the time, but so she does. She comes over, and I'm like, okay, let's go in, and she's like, I don't want to, I'm like, we're gonna go in. So I just kind of, get her to go in, and then finally she goes in, and he's like, I've been sitting here trying for an hour to get her in. But because we've built that bond now, and it's not from me just going and riding her. It's like, that's not what I wanted in a horse. It's like there are people and places that, they'll tack up your horse. They'll get them washed and groomed and ready. And you just go, you ride, and then you leave. That's not what I wanted. She's my heart, so I love her. So I just go sometimes just to groom her, feed her, walk with her, whatever that looks like. And then there's other days where we ride hard. And then I've also trained her to trail ride and things like that.
So do you and Mike ride together then when you guys go and trail ride?
Yeah.
Like Las Vegas, that area.
Exactly. Way out in the Northwest. There's out by like the gun range out there and stuff. So there's open desert. And so, yeah, we just trail ride out there and have nice, relaxing Sunday morning,
You take care of her like every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
child, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Family member that you have to.
Yeah.
To.
Yeah. And when I'm out of town, I've got to find somebody to watch over her and make sure she's okay and things like that. So.
And where did this come? Like, how did you? I remember one day you're like, I'm gonna buy a horse.
Yeah.
Okay. There's like cars out there.
I know.
I'm gonna buy a horse, and she's coming in, and I think she was here already.
Yeah, I think she just got here. Yeah. So yeah, Jordan and I went and met her and fell in love with her. So, I rode when I was a kid. We lived in this little kind of dirt town back in the day, and back then, we would just hop on horses bareback, and if they bucked us off or reared us off, it was like you just hop back on and whatever, and I've always wanted to, but life happens and just wasn't in the cards at that time. So now that the kids were older, they're out of the house, they're doing their own thing. Mike is in racing. He has his thing. I'm kind of like, I'm going to finally get a horse. I'm going to get into horses. And I started that like 4 years ago is when I got Miss Rain, when I was leasing her, and I love her to death. So that's why she's still in my life, because I just can't let her go because I love her. And so Mike loves her. She loves Mike. Like, she's a little brat to me sometimes, but to Mike, she's like, hi, I love you, and I'm like, wow, I know. Oh yeah. Like, she'll just like walk away from me like,
Really?
oh yeah, like wants nothing to do with me. But Mike walks in, she's like, hi. Right? I only took care of her for 4 years, and she drops me. But I've got Freya now, so and they're like little, like Freya's her annoying little sister, So
they're the same.
Yeah, same barn. They stayed right next to each other. They've been together ever since. Freya's been here and whatnot. So yeah.
So it's really your like shelter to kind of do and get a zone out and get away?
It is. It's my downtime. So I'll go, when I go there, I don't take my phone, or if I take my phone, it's off and it's just to take videos, as you've seen all the mini pictures of her. And, but yeah, that is 100% my time, because, we work so hard and we give so much to our clients and to our community that I finally have learned it's okay to take a minute for myself too. Yeah. So when I am there, I'm not thinking about real estate. I'm not thinking about, I'm not thinking about my family. Honestly, I'm just there enjoying the moment. And it's nice. It's very, very nice.
Not everybody has that. I think that's something to be proud of also.
Yeah.
You can shut down.
You can.
I think you have to be okay with it.
Yes.
You can run 24/7, but you'll also burn out at some point.
Absolutely.
You need the ability to kind of reset, relax.
Yes.
And that's, maybe one of those things for you. I keep telling everybody, my husband actually tells me all the time, you need to find a hobby. I'm like, my hobby is reading books.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that would be like a hobby.
And you're running, right? You used to run a lot and do all that. So that's kind of like your zone. Right. Yeah. And that's it. It's wherever you can go, where your mind can just kind of find peace for a moment, and I think everybody needs that. And, I'm getting up there. Right. And I just now have finally, come to grips hey, that's okay. I can put me first for a minute a day, so.
Is it only a minute
Yeah, an hour a day, sometimes 3.
It's a lot of commitment, though.
It is.
Your horses are very, very lucky to have that much attention. And
yeah.
Like so, I didn't want to stop or end the episode without at least talking about your husband, since you brought him up, because I thought this was a pretty proud moment for all of us who know him.
Yeah.
And so did he tell me a little bit about the Mint 400? Is it
Oh,
Mint 400?
yeah, the Mint 400. So one of his goals forever was, he used to race motorcycles. And then when he was getting hurt, he got hurt a couple times, and I'm a nervous wreck because, like I said, we're getting up there. I let him ride the horse. I know, that's what everybody says. They're like, well, even when I broke my face, when I fell on my mountain bike and I broke my face in 5 different places and all that. Yeah. And it was like, okay, so he let you ride horses, but you can't ride a bike? Wait, what? So, but yeah, so he quit riding motorcycles, but that thing is in him, right? And we need our thing, and racing is his thing. And Mike loves the desert. That boy is a desert rat. He is probably the only person I've ever known besides my dad who he looks at the desert as just this amazing, beautiful thing. He just loves the desert. He loves breathing it, being in it, all of it. He loves the dirt. He loves the weeds. He loves the lizards, everything. So, he got out of motorcycle racing because he's like, okay, I just can't be breaking any more bones. I'm almost 50. And yeah, at that time he was almost 50. And so he decided last year, he's like, babe, I want to talk to you about something. I want to get a buggy, so it's called a class 10 car, which is basically a buggy. And so I was like, okay, what's this look like? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, let's do it. And he's like, and my goal is I want to ride in the Mint 400 one day and drive down the strip. So the Mint 400 is super huge in Las Vegas, right? And they shut down the strip, and all the cars and the monster trucks get to go by. And it's this big hoo-ha. And him and I have gone down there for years, videotaped the Mint 400, blah, blah, blah. So I'm super proud of him because he was like, so my goal is within 3 years, I want to be in the Mint 400. Just to race in it. That's his goal. Not even to win it. He's like, I just want to be in it. It was his first year in racing. And not only was he in the Mint 400, not only was he on the strip driving down, he actually made podium in his class. So that is amazing. And I'm super proud of him. Yeah, he's just really, yeah, it was, and he's got an amazing family, our group behind him, which I love because a lot of our team is family. So, our son, our nephews and friends of the family, my brother-in-laws, both of them. One is his co-driver. The other one manages the team. It's really a great thing. And he started this during COVID. So it was, such a good thing to bring everybody together, gave everybody something to feel good about when all this ugliness was kind of going on in the world. You know, it just brought everybody like, hey, you know what? This is okay. You know? Yeah. They believe me, that nobody thinks about COVID out at the races. Okay.
So what's next then? Does he go out and?
He's now next time. I think so. He. Oh my gosh, this is how crazy he is. He had 3 races in like 3 weeks. I mean, that's how devoted him and his team were. And I'm at the barn. Hello. I'm in a different kind of dirt. So I'm either with my clients working or I'll take.
I've seen you out there.
No, and I am, yeah. Or if I'm not going to the race with him, like, so if I'm with clients, so that's the differentiation. So if I have clients I'm working with at that time, if there's a race, and I'm obviously with the clients and doing my work, but if I'm able to, then I go and I support him. So I'll do whatever they need me to do. I videotape and do things like that. So, because I'm super supportive of him, just like he is of me. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun out there. It's a lot of work. You know, they work their butts off. And at the end of the race, you would think everybody would be out there cheering each other, but I mean, they're passed out. They're like, we're done. Maybe the younger ones, our nephews and all of them are out. Yeah, but.
Well, I know we talked about it when you first started about sponsoring. I'm sure that sponsorship might be more now.
Yeah, I'll get you the friends and family discount still.
Congratulations to him and the whole Bad Dog family.
Yes, yeah.
So as you can see, Tamra's got a lot of stuff going on. Great realtor, or you're in such great organizations with VA Rep, the Stop, Drop, and Push. So I mean, believe it or not, we're like an hour into this.
Oh, get out.
So I'm going to wrap up here with
okay.
things that I always do with my guests. But before I do that, I just want to thank you so much for
thank you.
This with me. And I love and adore you and appreciate your friendship and our partnership.
Ditto. I love her. She's the best, by the way. Just so if you are looking for a lender, I'm just going to say it. Like, you only want to work with her because she's amazing. So.
I pay her a lot of money. Don't pay her like.
Yeah. We got to be careful what we say.
All right. So just some general questions first, and then I do rapid fire. So, what would you tell your younger self to do?
Oh my gosh. One of the things I learned most with real estate is it's okay for self-development, self-help, self-care, right? Where before it was always like, well, I'm okay as long as I'm taking care of everybody else. But I have learned so much by self-care, kind of our coaching program that we went into with immersion and things like that. Like, I wish I would have done those things in my early 20s, like by far. Have confidence and go for what you want. And I think those things really give you that inner confidence. So definitely self-care.
Self-care. And what are the 3 things you would tell people when considering to get into real estate? What would you do?
I would tell them, definitely treat it like a business. I think people want to just assume like, oh, I'm going to become a realtor and I'm going to make millions of dollars and life is going to be amazing. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. It's a great career. There's so many avenues you can do with it, right? You can flip homes. You can be an investor. There's so many different specialties you can do. But my biggest thing would be treat it like a profession, Secondly, to get involved, really get involved with the associations. One of the things, like when we were talking about getting involved, was there's a national leadership or a statewide leadership, and then there's a local leadership program. I highly recommend that you get involved in those because you really get to see how to level up in the real estate and in your own world, and stuff like that. So, I would highly recommend those 2, getting involved.
Awesome. And if somebody wanted to reach out to you after seeing this show, what's the best way to reach out to you?
They can call me, text me on Facebook. I check them all. So. Oh gosh, Tamra Coulter, LV, I believe. So you just look up Tamra Coulter, and and I'll be right there.
Awesome. So the rapid fire questions. You ready?
Oh, okay.
All right. So they're really easy.
Okay.
Books or Audible?
Oh gosh. Okay, I would say books, but honestly, anymore it's Audibles just because I can listen to them while I'm driving. Yeah.
Okay, so Audible or podcast? Do you listen to books on Audible or?
Audible. Yeah.
All the way books. Okay. Maui or Costa Rica?
Oh Girl, Costa Rica. I gotta say Costa Rica. I'm telling you, I'm loving it. You haven't been yet. You gotta go. So. Yes.
So Costa Rica or Duck Creek?
Costa Rica. Okay, I'm the beach girl. Yeah, I'm the beach girl. Now, if you ask Mike, he might be like, yeah. Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite book?
Oh gosh. Okay, you're gonna laugh, but I don't know. I think it's just one of my favorites, just because it's been my favorite since a kid, and it was like it reminds me of my very favorite teacher and everything. But it's Where the Red Fern Grows. Do you remember that book? Yeah, it's a beautiful like heart and soul book and it's about two dogs, and you just have to read it, and it makes me cry, and I think it's one of my all-time favorites, just because I think it was one of the first books I read as a kid that I remembered, and I've reread probably a dozen times. Yeah, so I just love that one.
I'm gonna go get that book.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a ton of links for all of these.
Yeah, right.
That's come out of this. Okay, so do you do podcasting, or is it all this book?
So I've started doing podcasts. So I'm starting to, yeah.
So what are you listening to right now for podcasts?
I listen to the Brian Buffini show, the Shelly Panzarella show, and
You might see that on Fridays in the What?
So which one? Yes, Real Estate Exposed. So honestly, I have like a bunch that I just kind of scroll through and keep playing in the background, constantly. So yeah.
That's awesome. So but you typically listen to Audible.
I do, because I love them. And like I said, I'm just now starting to flirt with the podcast things, because it's like everybody's like, check out this podcast. I think there was one that's the other one I'm starting to listen to is that Mel Robbins. She's got some great ones. So, and I like it, and I'm starting to find, if you find the right ones, they're short, quick, and to the point, but yet you can get a lot out. And of course, I listen to like some Western horsey ones too, so I do listen to some of those, because so they'll give you like tips on how to get your horse to not buck you off, or just little things like that. So I listen. That's what got me into the podcast, believe it or not, was the horse podcast, and then from there I started like, oh, there's a Brian Buffini one, there's this one, it's a Tim Manali, so started taking away from all of those too.
Awesome. And so last one is VGK or Raiders?
VGK, I'm sorry. Go Knights, go, baby. Raiders hoot. No, I'm kidding. Take that part out.
We're going to be editing that. All right.
Yes.
So thank you again for coming on my show.
Yes.
Thank you all for listening. If you please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification button for the next show that comes out, and share this information. There were a lot of nuggets. I like to say nuggets, but a lot of information based on the VA rep, Stop, Drop, and Push, Mad Dog Racing, Tamra Coulter Realtor, all things Shelly Panzarella. So make sure you like, subscribe, and push that notification button. And thanks. We'll see you on the next show. Bye.